afternoon, Joseph. How you doing?
Hey, Ben, how's it going? Hey,
All right.
everybody.
We're doing good. We're back for a 1 p.m. update to give an update on what we talked about on our Story Trading VIP show for our members at 9 a.m. this morning. And man, what really sticks out, this VICR, 9 a.m. this morning, we gave it to you at $70 with a $75 target. It hit within like seconds, right at the end of our show as we were talking. Now, it's just uncanny, like how many of these we give you every single day. Now this one went to 90, so we didn't get that move till 90. It went way beyond what I expected. Now I found out the reason why. They had a huge earnings beat last night. There were some issues with it fundamentally in the report, but what happened, which I didn't realize, there was a report out from Needham this morning saying that they think they have a deal with NVIDIA, and that's why it even exceeded Needham's own target of $75 that they put out this morning. And Craig Hallam came out with an $80 target, but this thing exceeding all the analyst price targets because of this NVIDIA involvement. Now, we've been watching this for months because we knew they had possible NVIDIA upside, and unfortunately, we kind of misplayed it this morning, so it hurts a little bit. We got, just a small move from 70 to 75, and we did some other misadventures last night and this morning. So VICR unfortunately didn't work out, but for us, it didn't. But if you're a VIP watching our show, this happens almost every single day. We have at least like one stock or two out of our top 5 that make gigantic moves, 20, 30, 40, 50%. And it's happened again. I think it's literally every day for the past week. VICR, can you believe it?
Yeah, it's really something incredible to see, man. Like, it's hard to wrap your head around that just day after day. There are picks on the top 5, let's say, that can have 20, 30, 40, 50% moves, and it's just again and again. It's really something.
Usually we play them right. Unfortunately, this particular one, there's also execution, but sometimes we'll mess up. Well, I hope our listeners, I'm sure a lot of people got into this at $70 this morning. So hopefully some of you guys made money on it this morning. If you tune in at 9 a.m., that's absolutely incredible. But what are we positioned in that maybe can go from here? Because we're not going to be chasing VICR at 90. Although, I wouldn't be surprised if it keeps going. If you look at the monthly chart, you can see the RSI is pretty low at 57, and it looks like it's heading for triple digits. So, but we're not going to chase it at this point. But what could have a move like that, or a big move? That this morning was our number 1 pick. VICR was our number 2 pick. Our number 1 pick was GRIL. This looks like a penny stock, but it's actually a lot safer than it seems. We just did the fundamental analysis at 12 p.m. with Chris Tuttle from IPO Candy, and in a way, this is an IPO. It's a backwards. It's kind of like a reverse merger. This company Sadot, S-A-D-O-T, is going public through GRIL. They've been in the process of going public through them for the last many months. Tomorrow, ticker symbol change to SDOT. That's happening tomorrow morning. Man, we had a lot of fun last week with the ticker symbol change of CLBR and the de-SPAC to PSQH. We rode that from $10 to almost $35. And by the way, I think we're stepping back in. I think it's ready for a move. But anyway, I digress. What I'm trying to say is that ticker symbol changes and rebrandings are very significant catalysts. So GRIL, you had fundamental tailwind. The fundamental analysts, again, said that this is worth $6. We have a catalyst yesterday talking about the revenue increasing pretty rapidly every single month. We have the catalyst of the ticker symbol changing tomorrow. And obviously, technicals are great on this over all the key moving averages. So it's an inside candle today. So GRIL, one of our larger swing positions, I'm looking for the potential of a large move into the 4 p.m. close today. But quite frankly, I think we're going to probably be holding most of our swing positions into tomorrow morning to this ticker symbol change, SDOT. So let's see. If you missed VICR, this one might work out. We gave the alert at $1.28 this morning. $1.28. It's $1.31, just up 2 cents so far.
Yeah, Ben, let me just say quickly on GRIL, I was listening to the show that you had with Chris Tuttle and you were going through it. And I have to say, when I see two, very savvy individuals talking about a stock and both not understanding why this is so cheap, it makes me think that it is so cheap and it should be bought. So, that's a big thing for me. They have two people that have a lot of experience looking at the stock, not being able to work out why it's so cheap. So it makes me think that it's just, it's wrong. It shouldn't be this cheap, and it's a good buy. So that's something to note.
When I first identified the stock a few months ago, it was 50 cents, and I didn't get in because it looked way too cheap. I'm like, this stock should be like $5. Why is it 50 cents? And I'm like, oh, it must be some penny stock with a lot of debt, or it must be some like skeletons in the closet or some fraud going on. So I'm watching it go up the last few months from like 50 cents to $1.50, but they're still growing constantly, and it's still looking really cheap. And now we have the catalyst of the name change tomorrow, and now we have our fundamental analysts on board. So that gives me conviction to have big size and GRIL today.
Ben, I will say a slight difference between this and PSQH, since you're comparing it because of the because of the name change, is that I feel like with PSQH the sentiment was much greater. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting you bring up sentiment, and maybe we'll digress and talk about that for a little bit. It's story trading, unlike technical traders, unlike fundamental investors. We consider our four pillars, which include sentiment and catalyst. So we look at things holistically from a multidisciplinary approach, put it all together, and that gives us confidence and conviction to pick our price targets and our trade ideas. And look at VICR keep going. It's just driving me nuts because we exited at $75 this morning, $91. All right, anyway. In any case, so what we're finding though, I've had this like overarching philosophy that at the end of the day, even though we have four pillars, it all filters down to sentiment, right? Take a fundamental investor and he's doing a calculation, right? And he sees, oh, this is cheap. I'm now going to take the action as a human being to take my judgment call, my interpretation of the numbers, and say, this is cheap. I am now going to buy that. That is actually sentiment. And every decision a human being makes, no matter what factor it starts out from, ultimately translate into sentiment. That's how the whole entire market moves, is on sentiment. It's because of a catalyst, because of technical breaks, because of technical breakdowns, because of fundamentals. Everything ultimately comes down to sentiment. And what's fascinating too, as we've made our move from smaller caps to big caps, we've seen that one could kind of have you couldn't fault someone for thinking that a micro cap would move more on sentiment than a larger cap. You think, oh, a larger cap, there's fundamentals behind it. There's lots of institutions in a deep market. They're trying to figure out exactly what the company's worth fundamentally, so everything's about fundamentals. What we're finding out is that big caps, large caps move based on sentiment as much, maybe if not more, than a micro cap, right? So, I mean, you have fund managers, institutional investors, you have trillions of dollars sloshing around, and these people with big money are making decisions based on sentiment day in and day out constantly. If you just think about the last couple of years, it's all about the sentiment of what kind of impact is COVID going to have on the market? Where's interest rates going? What's happening with the war? And this is not retail moving around the market. These are institutions with big money making sentiment. So when all the plays that we do, like, and the reason I bring that up, like Teladoc today, right? Teladoc's up 22%. By the way, we had two stocks on high alert for earnings last night, because we talked about there was Google, there was Microsoft, there was Visa, there were a bunch, but there are two that we called out. They said, hey guys, watch VICR and watch TDOC. Last night, we told you this yesterday morning. VICR and TDOC are the two we're going to watch closely for potential big moves after earnings. Unfortunately, we didn't play either of them right. Yeah, go ahead.
I just interrupt you just to check. Are you coming through on Twitter? I just want to.
Am I coming through on Twitter? People don't hear me on Twitter?
No, I don't hear you on Twitter, so I don't know if it's something on my phone.
You don't hear me on Twitter. My mic is on. I don't know why you don't hear me on Twitter.
Okay.
I should be coming through. Okay. So, in any case, let's go to what was I just talking about? Sentiment Teladoc, for example, just to drive home the point. This Teladoc earnings was not like a big beat. Like you say, 22%. I mean, it was roughly in line. Like the revenue and the EPS, it was roughly in line. In fact, look at the price targets too. Maintain $28 price target. Neutral, lowest price target to 29. Maintain $27 price target. Right. Yeah. And these kind of analyst targets, it was really kind of matching the fundamentals, which were really no big deal. But, I'm going through social media, and, one of the reasons that we flagged TDOC is because, like TDOC, unlike the other RK stocks, has been down right at the lows. It's never had its move. And, one of the concepts, one of the things I've learned over the years in a kind of a bull market, where certain sectors are taken off, in this case, risk assets, right? There's a concept that I use. It's called every stock gets its turn, or now every sector gets its turn, right? And I'm trying to figure out, why is TDOC going up? And it's exactly for the reason kind of we said before earnings. It's because this just hasn't gone up and it needs its turn. And that's what people are doing. I think this was like almost a pre-programmed decision by hedge funds, institutions, whoever, that as long as TDOC doesn't shit the bed, right? As long as it's close to expectations, we're just going to run this thing, right? Because it needs to have its turn. It's like the only segment out of like RK, Kathy Woods types of stocks that didn't run yet. And that seems to be what's going on with TDOC, which, it's making us kind of think about the pillars of story trading: sentiment, catalyst, fundamentals, and technicals. And I think, we'd be better off putting a greater weight on sentiment. Sometimes I think we put too much weight on fundamentals and maybe even a little too much weight on technicals. And really, about sentiment and catalysts seem to drive price action much, much more than fundamentals and technicals. I think they're still all important. They are still all important, but sentiment really rules the day. It's really unbelievable to see that.
By the way, Ben, do you know any purely sentiment traders, and like how they trade? Do they trade simply if the sector's hot, they're in it and they just hold? Is that how they trade?
I mean, personally, I don't know that I've seen people like that on, StockTwits and things like that are just riding trends and sectors based on what's hot, even without a catalyst, even without the technicals. Like risk is on, let me just be in risk assets. That'll be a sentiment trader, right? I've seen it, and I see that, it possibly could work, but I think our process is definitely the best. It's just a matter of how much you're weighing. How much you're weighing each of these pillars, and make sure you're weighing it right. Was there just big volume in PSQH or something to the downside? What happened here? Someone just sold a bunch. Yeah, big candle right here. It's trying to break out. All right, we'll get to PSQH in a second. So in any case, what are our other picks? Our third pick. So number one pick we gave you this morning, GRIL. We still love it. If you weren't with us at 9 a.m., you can still get in around the price we did at 128. VICR number 2. MSTR was number 3. So it's doing good. It's up 1.5%. We actually decided to play this with some call options. And what was the catalyst? By the way, that chart looks brilliant. The catalyst is simply an upgrade, not an upgrade, is an initiation by TD Cohen, $520. Okay. We've seen Carvana and we've seen Upstart, UPST explode, have 20% days on big analyst upgrades. In this case, it was an initiation. See what happened at Upstart yesterday. Those are the catalysts there. And what's similar about these is they're all highly shorted, including MSTR. MSTR, the short position is 26%. So the thesis this morning was maybe this analyst upgrade on a highly shorted stock, just like it did with Carvana and UPST, can do the same thing with MSTR. So it hasn't played out that way today. It's up 1.57%. Hasn't played out. The chart looks good, though. And crypto's had a big tailwind, as you guys know, for the last period. But this one, hanging in there. I don't know. We'll have to decide if we want to swing this or not. Really, the concept was that this could, do a 15 to 20% move today. So we'll have to see what we do with that MSTR. If you have any thoughts on that, Joseph.
I'm not sure. I was trying to make a differentiation between MSTR and the other two you mentioned. What was it? Carvana and UPST. And there might be something there. It might be that MSTR is just a different style of stock and not viewed in the same bucket as Carvana and UPST. So that might be something that, not to expect such a big move. But I think the thesis was good, and we'll have to decide whether to swing it or not, because we just have calls in it. We don't have anything else. So we'll have to see the risk reward on that and make a decision.
Okay, so that was the top 3, all doing good, hanging in there. Now, other ones I gave you, not working out yet. INVE, we did establish a position here. It's below the 50 DMA. Okay, so this is interesting. It had good news this morning. We went through all the catalysts recently that caused it to move from 5 to 7, and then again from 7 to 8 or so to 9. All right, we're not going to go through all that again, but we had another catalyst this morning, which I thought could cause it to basically bounce off this 50 DMA. It's having a little trouble with it. I think we're not going to bail on it so quick. We'll see here. It was meant to be a swing anyway. So that's INVE. You can take a look at the news this morning to see if it's something you may be interested in. We've interviewed the CEO, Steve Humphries, on this company many times, so we have a good idea of the fundamentals and where it's going as well. Other ones not working out today, but doesn't change the swing thesis. And in fact, NVIDIA and SMCI has been basically swings for us. It's on our list, top 5, 6 every single day for the last week or so. And if you look at the charts, still well above the 20 DMA. By the way, we have FOMC at 2 p.m., which could impact. Let's see, SMCI still looking good. I mean, I don't think anything's changing. It's just things don't go up in a straight line. That's NVIDIA and SMCI. And we're pretty heavy on those, so we're definitely getting hurt today with those moves down.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, not too worried about those. Can't go straight up, so should be good over the swing period that we're looking for.
All right, so PSQH, man, was just trying to break out of this 5. So PSQH here, this is not our bread and butter is not pure technicals, right? I'm just going to mention it here. We'd like to have the multiple pillars coming together to get a rapid re-rating for the day or for the week. PSQH, I'm just monitoring for possible like pullback re-entry on technical support is what I'm looking for, or some sort of technical turnaround. Look like we're about to get it on this 200 period. You can't see it. Let me share my screen here. Let's go to the. Here we go. All right. There you can see that a little bit better. So I was looking at. Yeah, you can barely see it here. Okay. It was this line. I'm like, oh, we're was trying to break this out. We had like this, but this is just technical. So not are the strongest type of play for us, and it's also not what we're experts in to just buy on technicals. But I do like the sentiment in this sector. I do like, the recent catalyst. We just basically de-SPACed. So that big move from 10 to 35, I think it's probably going to have another move. But again, this is in a way us just kind of guessing and looking for a bottom. It's not our expertise area just to buy pullback like this.
Yeah, and that's why we're keeping the allocation small, specifically because of that reason. Yeah.
All right, let's see what else we got here. Google and Microsoft earnings. I'm sure you've seen all the analysis ad nauseum on these. Google we made out on because we're already in it for a different thesis, so that's working out, and I think it's heading towards its 52-week highs. Microsoft trying to hold. Did it? What's it going on with the 20 DMA? Is it below it? Okay, went below the 20, bounced off the 50. Given the fundamentals here and the AI sentiment and everything, I have no qualms about this. I would be very shocked if it breaks below the 50 DMA. If it does, then you get support of your 20-week moving average, which is about 320 and rising. But right now, we're holding our position. Wow, that's a big hit to our account today, down 4.5% because we do have a nice position in Microsoft. But in any case, I think it's going to be holding this 50-day moving average. We'll see what happens with FOMC. Basically, everyone's expecting a 25 basis point hike. So I don't know. I mean, that's expectations, right? Like it's built in. So I'm bullish. I'm bullish.
Yeah, Ben, maybe talk to me if you don't mind, just maybe a minute or two on the Fed meeting at 2. So you're saying if everybody's expecting a 25 basis point hike, and that's what we get, so it should be priced in.
That's what I'm thinking.
If it's worse than that, I don't think they're going to go 50.
Yeah, if it's worse than that, then look out below. Oh yeah, if they go 50, forget about it. But I don't think they're going 50. If they go 50, everything's crashing really fast, man.
And if they pause, everything's flying.
I think so. Yeah, that's
if they cut, I guess pause or cut is like crazy.
Oh, it's not going to cut. They're not going to. Yeah, like cut. Forget about it. Well, cut maybe. Cutting. Are they seeing something scary in the economy? I don't think they're cutting. So yeah, they're not cutting. But in any case, like bigger picture, and I've been talking about this for a couple of weeks. I'm actually more bullish RK than QQQ because QQQ's come up so much, and this is part of the reason I think Teladoc has been running even on earnings which weren't so great. It's because RK is just so much more bullish than QQQ right now. Risk is on. We went through this chart ad nauseum, and we talked about the factors and the interest rates and the pausing, which is really good for risk assets. So RK, I'm very bullish on, and I think it's just really about money flow and rotation, and it's Teladoc's turn, and that's why it's up. So RK, really bullish in terms of what could outperform after if we do get not more than 20, either a pause or 25 basis points. I think RK is really poised to outperform QQQ over the next few weeks, maybe even over the next couple months.
Yeah, man, we've been seeing that a lot. Yes, and that's been a running trend that you've stuck with for a while now, that RK will outperform. And I think we're seeing that.
All right, we got Costco. That was a swing idea we initiated yesterday. We're not. I don't think we're going to look at this. We got calls a few months out looking for 610 plus. Wow, that's just a beautiful monthly chart. A beautiful monthly chart. So is VICR. When you look at these monthly charts are beautiful. It gives you a nice perspective of if you have patience where these things can go. So that's Costco holding on to that. Tilray, just a quick trade. I hate this company. I hate the fundamentals of this company. I don't really believe in it at all. But in any case, it's in the gap. We gave you a target of 230. Didn't quite get there. So
Yeah.
I think we should bail today. We're in a small size, but I don't think we should be holding this past 4 p.m. because of offering risk on this company.
Yeah, I added some at 195. So initially I was thinking, yeah, quick trade. I was hoping for 219. It seems that it just had a tough time crossing 207, even though it went over for a second, which is the 20-week moving average is now 2.08. It looks like it had a hard time crossing that. Yeah, I wouldn't want to hold this overnight. Yeah.
No, I don't know a lot about this company. Well, from what I researched, not good. Okay. So,
Okay.
and I think there is offering risk. So I'm not going to be holding that overnight. That's Tilray. All right. And that rounds up like all of our top picks and, really getting hit hard in the QQQ type picks like NVIDIA, SMCI, and Microsoft today. VICR was just amazing. If you were with us at 9 a.m., unfortunately, we misplayed it, but we have calls like that every single freaking day. It's really unbelievable. So if you head on over to storytrading.com/app, you can grab a free trial and be with us at 9 a.m. and get our absolutely incredible morning calls. And let's just see what else. We're going to scroll down. I know there's
Yeah.
DAIO earnings. Someone's been whispering in my ear the earnings are going to be good. I don't have a position in this. Earnings are tomorrow in DAIO. If you want to take a risk, have at it, folks. We'll wait for the results on DAIO. They got exposure to EV Revolution, a microcap company, which is slightly profitable, and their valuation is kind of low. So making me think. Maybe it's worth it to take a small earnings risk in this at $4.44, Joseph. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe,
Maybe we'll talk about it. Yeah. Could
yeah,
be.
maybe, all right. So in any case, let's see what else we got going down our list. So I haven't even looked down here. And you can see nothing's really popping out or doing well. That's one of the things we do. We go through this process with Rivian. Do we have any Rivian?
I think we have some call exposure. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So Rivian, we have a little bit of exposure there. That's breaking out. I don't know if there was a catalyst that sparked that, possibly. What's going on with Rivian stock? You can see Benzinga talking about it. So you can take a look at that. So that's something that didn't make it into the top of our list today. We can't be everywhere. There's so much going on. We already had so much, man. This morning, there was we had a task together, doing it as a collaborative effort, trying to figure out what our top picks were for the day. And I'd say we did pretty well. Look at Canoe up here. We did pretty well because right after we chose VICR as our top 2 pick, it moved like $5 within 3 minutes. That was
Pretty
crazy.
crazy. Yeah.
From 70 to 75. And look at this, in 92, probably heading to 100. Unbelievable. Wow. I can't believe it. Okay. I think that wraps it about up. Let me just see if we have anything on Twitter, if there's an audience or any questions. Wow, we got to build up this audience, folks. Make sure to tell people about us at youtube.com/storytrading, rumble.com/storytrading every single morning. And if we get a nice crowd, we'll do Q&A. We'll stay longer. But as it is, any closing comments, Joseph?
No, I just want to say from the fun perspective, I think, it's still, we're still getting better and better every day. And I think mistakes, you learn from mistakes, and please God, we'll go from strength to strength.
Yep. VICR was a big mistake. Looking at it right there. I'm telling you, I'm just like, wow, it's just unbelievable. 55%. You're looking at the chart. This thing's going to 100, and we're not in it. It hurts. It hurts to give you guys this great idea yesterday to watch for earnings. It hurts to give it to you at 70 this morning. and really not participate in it. But you know what? We're happy to give you great content and great ideas. And sometimes we'll misplay it, but you guys will play it right. So that's that. We'll see you at 9 a.m. tomorrow. And today for our VIPs, we do a collaborative Zoom at 4 p.m. where we can talk to each other, do research together. So head on over to storytrading.com/app and you can join us for that Zoom.
Okay.
Goodbye. Thank you, Joseph. Have a great day. Yep.
Bye.
Bye.